Now, to get the pulse of the consumer and the economy, I want to bring in Ron Kaplan. He is the president and the CEO of Trex. They make decking, non-wood decking. Ron Kaplan, good to have you with us. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Appreciate you coming at this time. The Global Growth Conference, Canaccord Adams, we're in Boston. Tell us, what are you seeing in terms of growth? Because I know that Trex, in the last conference call, you were talking about what was an unprecedented, maybe lack of buying that went on. What's going on right now?
Well, first of all, buying patterns have changed. Typically, the first quarter was when all the distributors would stock up and get ready for the building season. This year, they really waited until Q2 to replace things that were coming off the shelf as people began to build and take boards out of the stores and out of the distribution network. They sent us replacement orders. The interesting thing is that the vast majority of the orders now are ASAP orders. Everybody wants everything immediately.
That because they drew down all those inventory, they got nothing on the shelves.
The channel is so thin. There's nothing on the shelves. So when they sell something, they want to replace it, and they want it done immediately. So we watch that statistic of ASAP orders. It gives you some sense of the pulse. Clearly there are economic headwinds that we're still facing, but with a very strong brand identity and very clear marketing strategies, there's still reason to be hopeful out there.
All right, talk a little bit about things like capacity utilization. I mean, is that coming back?
Well, we continue to draw down inventory. When I came with Trex in January of 2008, we had $66,000 in the bank. At the end of Q2, we had $46,100,000 in the bank. So we have done we've worked very hard to really draw down the inventory, increase the asset utilization, and make sure that we had enough cash to get to the other side of this economic valley. We've done that. Now we're actually starting to think about growth opportunities. I mean, clearly we've contracted during this recession, but while we've contracted in terms of our capacity utilization, which is down into the high 20s from the mid 50s, our gross margins have gone up because we've overhauled the manufacturing technology and controlled our costs. So there's no reason why. I mean, it's sort of a trick to get inventory to come down, reduce the capacity utilization, but make the gross margins go up and the resulting cash go up. That's what we've been able to do at Trex.
Talk a little bit about the product innovations, because you've actually come out with some products that really go with the green theme, which seems to be a big trend here at the Global Growth Conference.
98% of all of our raw material is recycled product. It's either recycled polyethylene, like grocery bags, garbage bags, stretch wrap, and the other part of it is sawdust that we buy that's left over from other kinds of manufacturing operations. We take these two recycled products and we put them through a proprietary process, and out comes Trex. So it's a green product, and we've done a lot of work with increasing the efficiency of the factory to be able to draw down the inventory at the same time of making the yields and the rates go up. That's what's been the secret to driving the gross margin and the resulting bottom line at Trex, and we've been rewarded for it in the marketplace.
What kind of response are you getting from the investors that you're meeting here at the Global Growth Conference? I mean, are people interested in the story? The stock certainly has moved. So from 7 in the doldrums, now what, about $16, $17 a share?
$17. So it's more than doubled over the last year and a half since we've been on board. But part of that is driven by, your earlier question about the new products. We have really fleshed out our product line with a wide array of railing, fencing, trim, so that now when people go in and ask for Trex, we have the widest array in the portfolio for them. So that's driven a lot of what we're doing.
All right, and tell me, what are you hearing from the liquidity side of the business? When you look at the balance sheet, you've got the cash, but are you seeing bankers, are they willing to actually do some financing? Because people got to buy this stuff.
Well,
and
they are. Things clearly have loosened up. I'm not sure if that's a reflection of what Trex is doing or what's going on in the general economy. I think it's a combination of both. But clearly, like the old adage, the banks are more than happy to lend you money when you can prove to them you don't really need it. Now that we're flush with cash, we're in compliance with our bank covenants, I'm happy to say. We've got a good relationship with our bankers. The liquidity is there. Liquidity is not holding us back. Best
friends.
Now we got all kinds of friends.
All right. I want to thank you very much, Ron Kaplan, coming in, the president and the CEO of Trex, giving some insight into the world of the consumer and decking. Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg. I'm Pim Fox. We're broadcasting live from Boston, from the Canaccord Adams Global Growth Conference. Wanted to keep actually Ron Kaplan. He is the CEO and the president of Trex. They specialize in non-wood decking. Ron, you were talking a little bit about the consumer, and we were talking off camera about how this is a discretionary purchase, right? So this is really a bellwether for whether people have the money to spend for their homes. What's going on?
Well, it is. Only about 10% of our sales go into new home construction. The 90% or thereabouts is for repair, remodeling, and so on. There's been a transformation in the American home over the last 25 years. A kitchen used to be a kitchen table and a sink, and now it's the entertainment center of the home. The bedroom used to be a bed and a nightstand and an alarm clock, and now it's the his and her master suite. The same thing with the backyard. It used to be a patch of grass and a cement stoop. Now it's an extension of the home. It's outdoor living space, and there are more and more people putting money into kitchens, jacuzzis and saunas and so on. The decks are getting larger, more elaborate, but the smaller decks also are gaining in popularity because people just want to be outdoors. It's a good investment. It's one of the best investments for resale value that a person can make in their home.
All right, now when you talk about outdoors, though, that must be in some specific geographical markets. Are you seeing any geographical trends we ought to take note of?
Well, generally speaking, there are three things that we look for in terms of concentration. You look for a contour. When the yard is sloping away from the home, people want to come straight out their door and be on a flat surface and overlook their yard. That's number one. Number two, the more proximity there is to water, clearly, people will spend more money on decks and docks and so on and so forth. Thirdly, generally, it's the people who obviously, it's a discretionary item, so clearly it's the people who can afford it will buy it. People will spend the money on a Trex deck because of the lower maintenance and a total cost of ownership.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ron Kaplan, giving us some inside views into the world of decking, coming to us, the president and the CEO of Trex.